this for me? Watch the end. It's not just dirt. My name is Zephaniah. I'm a shepherd, as my father and my father before him, from just outside the village of Bethlehem. I've come to share with you a story. It's an old story, begun really before the dawn of time. But it was a little over 33 years ago now, when I wore a much younger man's clothes, that I, my father, my brothers, our families, the shepherds of Bethlehem, were caring for the sheep. You see, it was the time of the Passover. And at the time of the Passover, the great flocks of lambs are collected. The high priest owned the land in that area. 1-year-old lambs, perfect lambs, without blemish, mark, are to be sacrificed. Their blood is to be poured out upon the altar as a sacrifice for the sins of the people. It's an old story that goes all the way back to Moses, when the people were slaves. They were told one night, this will be the last plague. You are to take a lamb. You are to sacrifice that lamb. You are to eat it that night. None will be left over. And the blood taken from this lamb is to be taken in your hand and smeared over the top of your threshold of your door. The death angel sent by God himself will be coming. And he'll be looking for a sign. He'll be looking for the blood of the lamb over the lintel of the door. If your door does not have the blood of the lamb, the death angel comes into that household. This is an old ritual among my people. All the Jews, every Passover, celebrate this ritual. Let me tell you what I saw as a young man that day. It was unusually peaceful. The large flocks were resting. Many of us shepherds are employed. You see, you don't usually pull together a large flock of sheep or cattle or any other large herd outside of a community. You know why? Because it smells. It's dirty. It stinks. There's only one time that the flocks are gathered by day and night outside of Bethlehem. And again, this is the Passover season. My family and I were working. It was a beautiful day. We had not seen wild animals or robbers or thieves in almost the entire week. What a beautiful week that it was. For unfortunately, oftentimes we have to work, and we work hard to keep the flocks safe. This particular night, no different than any other night, we were on watch. We had fires here and there to keep warm and knock off the night chill. We've been telling stories, singing songs. You see, for a shepherd, we're not allowed in the temple. We're a part of a culture that is ritualistic in its celebration of its rules. In addition to the 10 Commandments, there are over 600 laws that have to be followed. As you read diligently through Leviticus, you discover that a person like me would never be allowed in the temple. Why? It's obvious. I work with sheep. Sheep are dirty. When you work with many sheep, you're very dirty. You're covered with dirt. You're covered with feces. There are times that you are taking care of dead animals. I am ceremonially unclean at all times in my life, for this is my occupation. I work with the sheep. I would never be allowed in the temple. Any religion that I have is very personal. Thankfully, I have been taught well by my father. And I share a culture, our little shepherd culture, just a deep love of the Lord. And I guess we probably always did, but that special thing that happened one night changed it all for us. Again, we were into the evening watch. It was quiet. We'd all retired to our own thoughts. When suddenly, the skies lit up. It was with colors like you had never seen before in your life. Crimsons, pinks, yellows, and blues, beyond imagination. And through it all shattered this incredible light. And louder still came the voice of the angels. And they shouted out to us, "Hallelujah! Hallelujah! He has come! He is born! Christ is born this day! Celebrate! Hallelujah!" The skies thundered. We looked for rocks to crawl under. We were so frightened, terrified, beyond belief. We couldn't look, and yet you couldn't hold your eyes from it. The praises of God's celestial beings filled the skies, thundered across the hills, echoed across the valleys. And then it was gone. Just that fast. Just that fast, it was gone. They said that Christ the King had been born. Where would this one be found? He must have been a traveler. We must search the inns. And so we ran for the hills, talking to anyone who would speak with us. But you forget, it's night. We're shepherds. We don't look right. We don't smell right. We're not the right sort of people to be announcing the birth of the Messiah. But my uncle came by an inn inquiring, and he said there was, earlier this evening, a pregnant woman. I had no room. I sent her out to the stable. And while she was in the stable, she gave birth. And my uncle found the Christ King. He found the Christ King. And we went. And we knelt. And we bowed down in worship. But the glorious Messiah who would come, and he would deliver us. He would deliver us from so many things. That was a long time ago. I've learned many things since. I've watched in many fields over 30 years now since that event. I've thought about the people, most especially I thought about the people that missed it. They missed the birth of Christ child. The very first person to miss the birth of the Christ child was the innkeeper. The innkeeper missed it. Can you imagine hosting the parents of the Messiah, the awaited one? Centuries, millenniums. Our people had waited for this one, and he missed it. Why did he miss it? Why? If you've never been an innkeeper, you might not know how much work is involved with that. Guests are coming and going. They have beasts to be cared for, animals. There's food to be prepared. There's laundry to be done. It's a busy, busy life, that of the innkeeper. Why did he miss the child? He was preoccupied. He was too busy. Maybe you know people like this. People so preoccupied with their occupation, climbing the ladder toward success, building that successful business, pouring themselves into a life that belongs just to them, just in a small circle. They travel so close. They missed it. They missed the birth of the Christ child. I wonder if the innkeeper thought of that across his life. He was preoccupied with his own life's affairs and he missed the whole thing. Herod missed it. Herod. King Herod. Remember him? Herod is a young man. His father was the governor of Judea. As a young man, he began cultivating his position for power. His own wife's brother, Archelaus, was a priest for the temples. You know, that's a threat to Herod. And so he began to plot. And he was swimming with his brother-in-law. And he arranged for men to jump in and drown him. He killed his own brother-in-law. That's not all he killed. He killed his wife. He killed first one son, then another. He slaughtered the innocents. When Herod caught wind that there was another king in Judea besides him, he decided to kill him. And he sent the Romans in with swords and spears. They descended upon the little village of Bethlehem. An entire generation of babes was wiped out. Every male under the age of 2 killed. Because Herod couldn't have anybody else be king but him. He was the only king of his country. Have you met people that are their only kings? They're king of the world and everything that's around them. Everything has to be conquered under their subjective grip. There's no room for anyone else in their kingdom. Certainly no room for a child king. Certainly no room for the true king of the Jews. They're above God himself. Who else missed it? Jerusalem. Jerusalem missed it. Bethlehem's but a few miles away. Jerusalem, the people themselves, missed it. They are so busy again with their own religious outlook. This isn't the way that the Messiah is to come. The Messiah is to come and to rid us of Roman rule and to set our country free. That's the Messiah's job. Certainly he wouldn't come as a child. He wouldn't come as a baby. The people missed it. Who else missed it? Not only did the people miss it, the very folks who should have known better. The religious scribes, they missed it. The priests, they missed it. The ones who should have been watching and knowing and teaching the people, they missed it. How do you know this, O shepherd, you might ask? Because when Herod heard from the wise men that there was another king, he called in the priests and the scribes. And he said, "What do you know of this king?" They didn't search long. They spoke right up. "Oh, this king is born in Bethlehem." They turned in the Torah to Micah, and they read those words. He was born in Bethlehem. They knew. They knew. And They missed it. The Romans. The Romans were there. They were throughout the community, keeping law in order throughout. Caesar, Augustus Caesar, Octavius, was the nephew of Julius Caesar. He was basically a good man, but he declared his uncle and himself to be God over all. Caesar, we're God. Not just of a little community of Jerusalem, Judea, but we are God over all, of all the world. And we will celebrate in revelry everything that is due to us. Wine, women, song. Let's make a house of worship. Let's fill it with prostitutes. Let's fill it with wine. Let's indulge our flesh with everything that it desires. For Caesar is God. Do you know people who claim that they're gods? They do whatever they want. Whatever they want. With no regard whatsoever. Messiah King, you're not for me. I'm my own God. What I do feels good to me. It feels right to me. It's how I live my life, by my standards. Not yours. Don't impose upon me. Those were from the early years. You know who the people I feel the saddest for? The people that I feel saddest for are the Nazarenes. Nazarenes. For 30 years, Jesus was right in their midst. He grew up among them. We shepherds told the story as if there were anything else that needed to be told. The scriptures told the story time and time and time and time again. The Messiah was here. What happened that night? We shared the story all through our part of the country. Nazarenes missed it. Nazarenes grew up in a Jewish culture, a Jewish heritage. They grew up celebrating. They knew about church. They came to church every Sabbath. They practiced what was said. They listened to the scribes, the teachers, shared the stories. And the stories became so familiar to them that they missed it. That day when Jesus stood up in the temple, he said, "This day the scripture is fulfilled," and he closed that book of Isaiah. They stared intently at him. Now when Hebrews stare intently at you, their hand is on their dagger. And Jesus was brought to the edge of town to be thrown over the cliff and killed. And he walked right out of their midst. And the Nazarenes themselves, they missed Jesus. You see, I think this Jesus, as he walked to that cross, and he laid down his life, that was his purpose in coming here. All of these people missed it. You see what the Lord wanted to do? Is he wanted to reach out to each and every single one of you and give an invitation that you take hold and you let the Savior bring you to the fullness of life everlasting. So many people missed it. Reflect again on the birth of this child.
son, go and chase your dreams. This world can wait for one more moment. Go and sleep in peace. I believe the glory of heaven is lying in my arms tonight. Lord, I ask that He, for just this moment, simply be my child. Go to sleep, my son, and baby, close your eyes. Soon enough, you save the day, but for now, dear child of mine. Oh, my Jesus, sleep tight.
There's a lot of people missing Christmas out there. It's our job to kind of spread the joy, spread the message that you have deep in your heart. You're here. You could have been anyplace else this morning. You chose to come and to celebrate the birth of Christ. But there's people out there missing it. They miss it because of their ignorant preoccupations. They miss it because of their jealous fear. They miss it because of their prideful indifference. They miss it because of religious ritual. And they miss it because of false gods. What's your reason? We've all been in each and every one of those places. I know. I've been there. You have to. But we get it today, don't we? We get it. Behind all the reasons to miss Christmas is just one. It's basic unbelief that the God of heaven stepped from eternity into time for the likes of you and I to forgive us of sin that's pulled us away from this. And that blood that He shed on that cross, it's over your door. We're not killing lambs and splattering blood on our doors anymore. But sure as my name is Mike Jansen, the death angel wants each and every one of us to go to hell. This is the reason for the season, folks. We're going to go home and open gifts and have feasts and have a great time, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the Lord would encourage it. But as we walk forth from the next to the last church service of the year, I guess this is the last church service of the year, isn't it? This is it. 2016 is gone. There'll be no more Sundays to invite somebody to church. As you walk out to live your life, walk tall as a Christian should. Look out for those things that are trying to take you away from Him. Love the Lord your God with your heart, your strength, your soul, and all your mind. And I think if we can do that, Monday through Saturday, we can come here on Sunday knowing that we've done our job and we've lived each and every day of the week the way the Lord would ask us to do. Let's pray. Lord, thank you so much for coming as a baby. We celebrate that today, Lord. It's a beautiful gift. It's the gift of eternity. There isn't anybody here who's received or given a better gift than that. Thank you so much for this group of people, this truth that we all got to share this morning. And I just ask that you give everybody not only a wonderful day, Lord, but a wonderful year. Just reflecting upon the birth of Christ, sharing it, showing it, living it. Let it be so. In the name of Jesus we pray.